Welcome to visual exploration of the circular built environment, looking at construction, renovation, and demolition waste, or CRD waste, in Guelph Wellington. This is Rebuilding the Royal City. It's a systems map presented to the Zero Waste Economic Transformation Lab at COIL, Circular Opportunity Innovation Launchpad. My name is Raphael Lopoukhine, and let's begin with the current state of affairs. Buildings in the construction sector contribute to about 37% of global carbon emissions. Canada is only recycling about 16% of CRD materials. Research shows that number could be around 85%. In Ontario, existing landfills are predicted to reach capacity within the next decade. Guelph Wellington, there's options to divert CRD waste, but they're underused and most materials get downcycled. Changing the way buildings are designed would have the biggest impact on the system by using efficient material management and tracking, life cycle analysis, and net zero carbon design. Looking at opportunities for reuse of materials, metal's at the top. It's diverted at most stages of the process, resulting in a high diversion rate because the cost signals work. Knocking down barriers, including costs for concrete, wood, gypsum, and brick, would help considerably to build a reclaimed materials market. Our next stop is a comprehensive overview of the trends and causes backing the status quo and driving change in the system. Climate change is underpinning many of the drivers through the push to reduce operational and embodied carbon, adopt new technology, and bolster resilience. However, the industry also faces the challenges of an ongoing housing crisis, slow municipal approval, a chronic labor shortage, and a resistance to new environmental regulations and building codes that could increase upfront costs. Looking at the causes for change, we see climate concern among the public, governments, investors, fueling action by the private sector and emboldening climate policy advocates. The lack of data, regulation on recycled materials, and underdeveloped resale market slows the industry's evolution. Next, we delve into the interplay between the private sector and governments and how materials travel through the waste system. We find provincial leadership would have the biggest impact system-wide, but local governments have many frontline regulatory interactions through permit, zoning, fees, roads, waste, and more that could bring change to their communities. Our tour continues with the examination of the development and waste management industries. Here we find that circular building design and operation is minimally executed in the region. Deconstruction and source separation, important to increase upcycling or reuse, is virtually non-existent in small-scale residential projects, but occurs in a few larger ones. When materials are salvaged at the residential level, it's an ad hoc process to limit waste rather than for the economic benefit of the materials or the tax receipt. There are businesses with circular products and processes, but many more would join if the cost signals were stronger. Next, we explore story loops that illustrate how specific actions can have ripple effects. We find that climate change, higher oil prices, and shrinking landfill capacity is putting pressure on the easy-access, low-cost virgin materials market. But reclaimed and recycled materials are inconsistent and hard to use, underappreciated and incentivized, and as a result, their use is limited to expensive custom, non-structural projects. Next, we visit Guelph's transfer station. We find a fee on contaminated loads meant to improve the quality of materials has acted as a disincentive to divert, likely sending more loads to landfill. Finally, we come to opportunities based on fixing many of the problems identified in the systems map. The solutions are geared towards increasing waste diversion, deconstruction, material reuse, and the development of circular buildings. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Please see the map and accompanying report at coil.eco/Zwetel.